G'day everybody, I'm Brady and this is Elissa from Deadlifts and Death Metal. Welcome back to Inner Strength Check podcast, home of all things, music, hobbies and mental health. But today we're talking mental health and fitness.
Fuck yeah.
From the home of Deadlifts and Death Metal. You guys might remember that we did maybe 2-3 of you may remember that we did an interview a while back. And that one did not have video, and also there's going to be an exclusive element to this video, which you'll find out about later. But anyways.
Do I know about it yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Patreon.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
It was meant to be a preview. No, it's
okay,
fine.
That's alright.
So, I reckon we should do this, fire off a question each.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That sounds good.
Test me.
Okay.
Start me off.
So, I have a little bit of a question regarding executive dysfunction for neurodivergent people, especially when it comes to, for example, doing things like rehab homework or prepping meals or anything like that. I find if I try to encourage people to sort of do those little things that can help them in the long run, if they have executive dysfunction, it's kind of like I'm just slapping another job on top of an already overloaded sort of...
Right, yeah.
How would you advise people sort of, I guess, without burdening them more, how would you encourage people to do those things without overloading them, I guess?
Is it the fact that, so for instance, it's something you've got to do regularly, so it's a bit routine. Is it also something that's a little bit more I guess mundane, it's not as exciting as say doing a bench press or a deadlift or something?
I suppose, yeah. So for example, someone who is sitting at a desk all day who has a sore lower back, and that's obviously their workload is contributing to that because they're fucking prawn for 12 hours. Asking them to, for example, get up and stretch or to do some light rehab stuff is a challenge because they're so hyper-focused on what they're doing at work.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it might even be more of a question regarding how to shift focus from one task to another.
So, I mean, your boss may disagree with this, but the science says, so Pomodoro technique is a good one. So that's a system of and bit of a chef secret about the podcast. It lives and dies by Pomodoro technique. It's the only way I get things like gig reviews, editing this later because I hate video editing, all that sort of stuff. And the idea behind it, Pomodoro, tomato, basically it's just a system where you have, and you can chop and change this to your liking, although knowing neurodivergence, they'll be no, I have to stick to the 30 to 10 or I failed. Yeah. But basically it's an idea of doing work in 30-minute bursts. Yeah. Just have that hyper focus, have a timer, and don't do what I do and go, press skip and try and sort of snap yourself out of it. Yeah. And then setting either a 5 or a 10-minute break where you're allowed to do anything you want. Anything. Going on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Again, may not apply as much at work. Yeah. But even if your clients can think of it in terms of their workflow, having those kind of half-hour breaks will allow them to have that hyper-focus. And then if they've got a cue an alarm or something, and then they have a break, maybe you could tie it into... I guess it's difficult with neurodivergent people because if I was to say, you're not allowed to have a breaky break unless you do your rehab things, well, the first thing a neurodivergent's going to do is get pathological demand avoidance and go, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Exactly.
Which is probably actually a lot of what's going on unconsciously. I think really it sounds kind of generic, but my advice would be, using a system like Pomodoro, so 30, basically the way that works is 30 minutes on, 5 to 15 minutes off, 30 minutes on, 5 to 15 minutes off, lunch break. Yeah. That way you get a burst of hyper focus, and what I find is that it kind of makes it exciting because the time is counting down. If you're checking it, you're I've only got 5 minutes. Yeah. I'll show you. Yeah. Okay. So it could be something like that, or it could be paired with, I don't know, something that's a bit more exciting, maybe even say, for instance, so for me, I have certain podcasts and playlists that and this is my autism coming out, because it's a rule, apparently in my head, right?
Yeah.
Like shuffling albums is also a no-no apparently. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm blathering, but like there's certain podcasts I'm not allowed to listen to until I've done all my chores.
Okay.
It's kind of like a little bit of self-parenting, reparenting.
Yeah.
And I sort of, you know, you can kind of have fun with it, because it's like sometimes you're not going to follow that all the time. And because you're feeling like oppositional, you're just like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
You get to feel like a cheeky kid. But I guess just reminding neurodivergent folks too that we're human, and that's often, you know, often thing. I'm going all over the shop with the answer, but
That's
basically building in some form of like, almost like Tabata style, if we're talking fitness.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
Longer bursts with short breaks, and those short breaks can be whatever you want, and maybe just saying, hey, you can go chase up e-girls on Tinder on all your other little 10-minute breaks in the day, but maybe if you work in just during one of them a day, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's one of many ways your mileage may vary, yada yada yada, all that with neurodivergent people, but that's just my sort of idea.
Another follow-up question. A lot of people that I've spoken to have alarms, and they have post-it notes, and they have shit all over their house to remind them to do shit, and they just don't see it anymore. Or like they'll just turn.
Yeah, they might have too much.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with neurodivergence as well, is that like cognitively you're going to have, as soon as things become part of the environment, they become part of the environment. So it might even need to be more ritualized. Like for me, for instance, like I write down all my tasks and stuff in this, and I manually sit there and I write each one out. I could put it in a notes app, I could do it, but I guarantee if I do that shit in Evernote, it's gone. Yeah. It's absolutely gone. So maybe people could, for instance, if you've got like a sticker or a notepad, every time you have to do it. I know it's a bit environmentally unfriendly, and even if it's a daily task, because you'll get that extra cue, that extra kind of priming cue from like physically writing down, okay, like if we're talking post-it notes, I remember once I actually literally post-it note wash up. Yeah. It lasted about a week. That did work, but you know, it worked for other things. So okay. I think the most important thing for neurodivergent people is they're very creative. We're very creatively minded people. We're very quick to be like, okay, so that's the rules, and then be like, oh no, I broke this rule. So like those suggestions, just not beating yourself up about it, and just making it fun. You have to make the mundane fun, I find.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like, when I was bodybuilding, I used to like have to do a lot of cardio first thing in the morning. I would just play fucking Mortal Kombat while I was like PS4 controller, just right.
That's amazing.
So it was like, instead of saying, oh, I've got to get up and do an hour of cardio, it's like I get to get up and play games for an hour.
That's kind of what I find is, if you pair it with something, it goes from I've got to, which is fast track to any ADHD or autistic person's brain just going, fuck you, won't do what you tell me.
That's it. I get no dopamine from this, I'm not doing it. Yeah.
I get to. Yeah. And also I think it might be more about working with that person's frustration around feeling like they've failed you or they've failed themselves. Yeah. And I'm sure you're already on this track, which is why you're busy, because you get a lot of clients, because you've already got this kind of handled. But just gently reminding people, hey man, like, you know, you might have remembered the thing 38 times out of 40 in a week, and you're not a fucking failure because of the 2 out of the 40.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like that Pareto principle as well, like 80%. Wait.
80% of the effort, 80% of the results comes from 20% of the effort or something.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, like it's what you do most of the time that really matters. Yeah. And you know, something is actually better than nothing. Like reminding clients of that. Like if they're like, oh fuck, you know, I only trained once this week. It's like, but you still trained. You could have literally done nothing, and you did it. So, like, I try to get people to think of it in that term, and especially kind of segueing into like a discussion on maybe volume or intensity or something.
Yeah.
If you have one session a week that you can do and you go fucking balls out, that session can be really productive.
Yeah.
Like, you can manipulate those training variables to suit like your frequency and stuff like that. So
Also, if you know someone's got autism and fitness is their focus, nerd out on them. Be like, man, like, do you realize that you lifting those weights, elevates your brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is, you know, for 24 hours or something versus doing cardio.
Yeah.
But even the idea of like what you're saying before with Mortal Kombat, like I think that could be applied to, say, we're kind of like theory crafting some planning here, but like in that break, say, maybe you've got like, I don't know, your favorite shit posts in a folder or like reels or something, doing your exercises to that. Yeah. So that you can kind of, you know, obviously they want to be mindful enough, but maybe it's like once they're used to it, then they can incorporate more stuff to just help entertain or stim their way through it. Yeah. I'll fire a question back at you. Yeah. In that situation, would those clients be like, would it be the same exercises normally, or would there be different ones, or is it usually consistent? Like,
it would be more in a rehab focus, which would be a regular sort of set program. Yeah. So I'm already picking up what I think you're implying, which is like it can get very repetitive and boring. But without doing them, they're not going to see the cessation of pain that they're looking for. Yeah. So it's like, unfortunately, you have to do this like for your own health. I don't think like too much variation would really help there. Yeah.
So I guess what you could also do there too is like, this is me getting into very social worky territory, but you could use mindfulness, say for instance, and let's say music. Yeah. Maybe even being experimental with it, like put on doom metal one day and see how the exercise feels.
That's a good suggestion.
And then put on like, I don't know, freaking Black Seeds of Vengeance by Nile the other day. Yeah. And even just, or maybe even reporting back to you, like that's kind of like some sort of homework there, like, you like this and this music, try it out with this, try it out with that, try it out with this, because people might notice little interesting things like, oh yeah, when I chucked on Nazem, I was actually trying to, and I had to slow myself down or something.
I like that. Yeah, so that's kind of almost the gamifying and the coupling. Yeah, like creating dopamine where there wouldn't be any typically. Yeah.
Like there's good gamifying apps. So one that I will go through very bipolar cycles of like 3 months of using it religiously, and then 3 months of being like, this is stupid, I hate it. Habitica. It's like an RPG app.
Oh, cool.
And you earn like new items and clothing and stuff by just punching in your daily tasks and stuff.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. And I feel like I kind of cheat on it because I've got like brush my teeth, shower, so I'm like, haha, daily.
What's it called again?
Habitica.
Okay.
Not a paid advertisement, but I will consider. But there's quite a number of ADHD specific like gamifying apps that are like RPGs and stuff now.
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah. I need this.
Or even things like you could do, say, like, I don't know, you could set yourself like a goal, do X amount of exercises, and every time I do this rehab exercise, and if it's weekly, you could say, make it a small amount, which again, the dopamine might be low, but it's like, no, just think of the shiny. Maybe if someone's like collecting an LP or they want some merch, it's like, you have to buy that. Yeah. You have to purchase that in game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like an XP bar. You've done each exercise each day is like $2, and then you've gotten to 40. So yeah, you get to buy a shirt.
That's fucking sick.
Something like that.
The client I'm particularly thinking of already has like probably over 100 shirts. I think he could use another one. I think so. Like, why stop there?
Why not? Yeah, yeah. Or just pivot it into patches like I did once I realized, like, holy shit, my top cupboard that is holding all the shirts I don't have on the rack, which are all black, is heaving from all the black shirts.
Do you categorize them? Like, do you have like a alphabetic system?
No. I copped the art, the folksy art hippie autist. I did not get the science and math autism.
I didn't either. Trust me. Yeah.
But actually, on that note, that leads me into a question. Not about autism, numbers.
Okay.
When you're initially looking at programs, just out of interest, do you find that you've done this long enough that you're mentalizing the numbers, like in terms of like you're already thinking load and that sort of thing as someone's explaining what program they need?
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I mean, the most important two things to consider before I write a program is obviously like what the goal is, because that's going to determine, you know, the programming outline, but also like what capacity people have to train and what they can actually commit to. So someone might say, I'd like to do 4, but the word like kind of implies that 4 might be a stretch.
Yeah.
But 3 could be better. So when I'm looking at the goal and the frequency, then I can kind of consider the rep ranges and the amount of sets and stuff. But I mean, beyond that, and this is a fucking rabbit hole you opened, like.
This is we're just asking rabbit hole questions.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is a rabbit warren.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that respect as well, I'm also considering how much of a beginner they are.
Yeah.
Because when someone's just learning to train, you need repetition and you need a lower, like, people aren't going to know what they're fucking capable of for the first almost like 2 years of any considered training sort of journey. You're not going to know how strong you are. You have to find that out, and you also have to have the repetition. So you're learning a skill, and that skill is fundamental to you actually being able to leverage your strength later. So I'm tending to think like in those terms as soon as I'm talking to someone.
Right.
Like the rep range will be higher, the volume as far as sets will be higher as well, because you need the practice, but also because you're not particularly strong, you need more exposure to the stimulus. Whereas like someone who's been training as long as I have, I'm like 2 hard fucking sets, like go balls out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say that to everyone. So yeah, that's kind of where my brain goes.
So that's interesting. I'm just circling back on a couple of things. This is the great thing about impromptu ADHDing it with interviews. Brain's just going to generate its own questions, but a couple of ones. So the first one, when you say like to, do you think that a lot of that is like culturally loaded, like loaded by like stereotypes? Like, do you get what I mean? Like, oh, I would like to. Do you feel that when someone's saying that, it's a little bit, they've got a bit of an idealistic image? Like,
definitely.
You know, we'd all like to look ripped. I'd like to look like fucking Brad Pitt in Fight Club specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why I picked that example, but you know what I mean? Like, so do you find when someone says ideal, you sort of go, okay, I'm going to have to do some expectation management here?
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I think it's very driven into people's heads that in order for you to get a result, you need to have a specific number of days in the gym, which is completely fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Absolute bullshit. And it kind of goes circling back again to what I mentioned about like, fuck yeah, you got in 1 day a week. But was that workout still fucking progressive? Did you still, train hard? Did you still further yourself towards a goal?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then who gives a fuck how many times you go to the gym? But like, there is that concept, and it's like that hustle culture, I think, especially.
Yeah, grind set.
Like people think that they have to come to the gym at least 3 times a week to see change, and it's like, well, if you're coming from nothing, you're still going to see results. And like like putting this place together, I got so burnt out and I fucking hated training. I trained once a week and I still grew. Like I still got stronger. So it's like assuming assuming you need to do something a certain amount of times is already kind of putting yourself at a deficit. Like you need to consider the amount of energy and like time that you have available, but in a way that's not unrealistic.
Yeah.
So if someone says to me, I can do 3 days, but I would like to do 4, I'm like, cool, we're doing 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna set the bar too high from the start, because you want people to have quick success. You want them to see, you know, the rewards of their efforts as soon as possible, because that's the dopamine, right?
Yeah.
That's where you want them to come in for a couple of weeks and then go, hey, my back doesn't feel like shit, or like I'm not crunchy, I can tie my shoelaces, or I can stand at a gig or a festival and my back doesn't hurt.
Oh,
like,
the
shit
dream.
like that.
Yeah.
One day. But yeah, shit.
Do you get that a lot? Do you get that a lot as a goal? People being like, because I imagine like that's my goal. I was at Yelp last night and I'm like, this is such an amazing transcendental, spiritual experience. But holy fuck, do I want to go find like a chiropractor to just unpretzel the double knotted whatever the hell's going on in my back? Like I'm standing there like, I'm glad I'm loving this more than I'm suffering, because so is that like a pretty common, I imagine you get a lot of people in Melbourne too, like in the knowledge work economy, desk workers, that sort of thing, and they're just like, my back is
it's probably one of the most common things. Like I had a guy literally just come and train with me one-on-one for about a year, because that was his goal. He was like, I'm going overseas, I'm going to go to a fuck ton of festivals, and I don't want to feel like an old man. Like I don't want to have my back.
That's such a good goal.
It's fucking awesome.
Did he keep training?
He haven't seen him for a while, but like we got some really fucking good results.
Nice.
Yeah, like he made a really good transformation and he learned a lot. So I'm hoping that he continues to train and he's just taken, you know, what I showed him and fucking worked on it even more. But yeah,
you could do like a group program and be like, and start it like a year before the Euro Festival circuit. Like find out the date of Hellfest. Yeah. And start it like 6 months early and be like, get Hellfest ripped.
Yep. Absolutely.
Do something like that.
Yeah. Get fit enough to stand around and watch bands without fucking feeling like a piece of shit. Yeah.
And like that's the other thing too, is like we talk about strength training and like you look at, so going back to fitness culture, do you find that people coming in here kind of breathe a sigh of relief, because we're talking grind set and all that sort of stuff, and I know you're just absolutely like that, you're in here hiding away from all that LinkedIn influencer fucking and most metalheads, a lot of them which are neurodivergent. I'm not tarring you all with that brush, just a lot of you.
Just most of us.
Just most of us. But do you find that people come in and they're sort of, they've got that expectation that this is going to be yet another grind set kind of gym, and they're kind of surprised by your approach, or?
I'm not 100% certain on that. I can ask a few people for sure, but I do get people walking in here going, holy fuck, I actually like gyms. I never thought I'd like coming to a gym, but I like this one. And it's like, cool, but that's why it's here. This is who it's here for.
Yeah. Do you notice that change in people's demeanor too? Like they walk in and they kind of like I did. I was like, ooh, like the first time I went to, I was like, there's a behemoth poster on the wall in a gym. Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my.
I get that.
Stars.
Exactly. I get that every time.
Yeah.
Like people walk in and they just go, oh, I feel like I'm at home.
Do you see people physically like relax into it?
Yeah.
That must feel good.
It really
like,
does.
You're just like, welcome home, my friend.
It really, it's so fucking rewarding.
Yeah. And I think that goes to show too, like, and from your observation, like, have you found that moving the gym out from, like, amongst that other place to your own dedicated place, have you seen a change in just clients' attitudes in general, like having your own space now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even that environment change?
Yeah. I think the best thing about moving was that it doesn't feel like it's my gym, it feels like it's everyone's gym. It's like, this is our home now, which is really fucking cool. Whereas before it was like, it's our space, but it's not ideal, it's not big enough. You had to pay a membership, you know, at the gym to even come and train with me, which kind of sucked. But now it's like, this is our fucking home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
my
so good.
turf.
'Cause, it's my gym now. But yeah, it's
Awesome.
really fucking good. And everyone has, I guess, upped their training frequency as well.
Right.
Because they've got more options now. Like we've got more sessions on. I've got more trainers, so it's like people are going from that. I would like to train 4 days a week, and now they actually are training 4 days a week.
And how the new trainers going? Like, how did you find that initially bringing on new people?
Yeah.
Was it a bit of a mix of relief and oh god, that's just more to manage, or?
Definitely at the start it was a lot of stress because you're always wondering, I guess, like, are they going to get along with my clients? Are they going to flourish here? Also, for me, huge amount of imposter syndrome because I'm mentoring them as well a little bit. And sort of we have a weekly sort of education session, I guess, where I help them with their business or with training. And I'm just like, why are you listening to me? I'm nobody. Like, I still have that. I'm just like, who the fuck am I to train another coach? Like, I still feel a bit weird about that. But thankfully, like, Brew and Mitch are the best fit for this place. Like,
awesome.
Brew is an absolute sweetheart. She's so empathetic. She's got like emotional intelligence. She's very comforting. And then Mitch has this fucking innate ability to just pinpoint like one little thing about someone's lift, or like, you know, he's very astute and like can directly communicate exactly what the client needs. And it's really nice to come in to work and have someone say, I was struggling with this aspect of my lift, but Brew Mitch gave me a cue and now it feels amazing. Like, I get that daily, which is fucking awesome. So you guys have done like the best job ever. Yeah.
Did you want to take a break?
No, I'm good.
All right, yeah, keep going. She's too famous.
Oh, it's motorbike finance people.
Oh.
Yeah, they can fuck them.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
So, me thoughts, words good. Me words and thoughts good. So, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Have you found, because for me, I sort of, and this is more related, I think, to just finding out being neurodivergent, but like, for me, I treat imposter syndrome now as like a feature, not a bug, like it's going to be there. Have you found that like through your journey, you've come long enough and you're still experiencing that imposter syndrome, you just kind of treat it like it's there, or is it something that sort of hinders you, or like, I mean, it hinders all of us, but do you get what I mean? Like, has it been a kind of a constant, or did you find that it actually escalated when you started moving into like scaling up your business?
Oh, it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
It's gotten so much worse. And like, it doesn't seem to be anything that any external validation will change.
Yeah.
So for example, like I had a consultation with someone who's like the most intelligent, fucking awesome purveyor of knowledge in the fitness industry, and we had like a 90-minute consultation, and everything I said he agreed with. So it's kind of just talking to a peer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I paid $500 for this 90-minute conversation with someone who's basically just chatting to a friend. Like, and that made me feel validated for about half an hour.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the baseline imposter syndrome comes back in. I don't really know how I deal with it other than to, I guess it's kind of that technique as well. If you're feeling anxious about something, or you have a pervasive negative thought, you kind of acknowledge that it's there and go, hey, I feel like I'm a fucking charlatan today, and then you just let it go, or try not to focus on it. But I also think it's good to lean into that as well, and then it's like, if I feel like I'm an imposter, I'll go learn some shit. Yeah. Or like, I'll try to reconnect with that part of my personality that loves learning. Yeah. So it's like, cool. If I feel like an imposter, I can get better. I can learn new skills. I can research something. I can consolidate my knowledge, and then, you know, it won't remove it, but it makes it easier to sit with, I guess. Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing to note too, because like, especially you mentioned you're working with a lot of neurodivergent people and things like that. like I find for me imposter syndrome, it's the exact same thing. There is no amount of external validation that will remove it.
Yeah.
And I very quickly learned way before I was ever diagnosed, like don't bother. Because I've got something in my ear just going, not gonna.
Yeah.
And I just sort of deal with it similarly, just mindfulness, just being like, okay, yep, all right, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm just gonna go over here and do this now.
Yeah.
Thank you, but thank you, lizard brain.
Yeah.
Not a saber-toothed tiger. See you later. I mean,
absolutely.
Doesn't always work. Do you find imposter syndrome is like common with your clients around training, or?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I find perfectionism is definitely there.
Yeah.
Huge.
And imposter syndrome really itself is just another form of perfectionism. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So when you say perfectionism, how does that look in your clients?
Like, someone might get a PB, but if their form wasn't perfect, it's like, I think that's the most pervasive way that I see it at the moment. And it's kind of interesting because, like, I'm a cheerleader in that circumstance, and I'm like, you know, you did really well, like you got a PB, and then they look very despondent because they didn't do it perfectly, and I'm like, you're never gonna do something more intense, more challenging perfectly the first time.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like, you're still learning. Like, this whole thing is about learning. Like, the gym is just another fucking petri dish for life, I guess. So I try to remind people that there is no progress without struggle, and you're never going to pick something up straight away. And that's the perfectionism too. Like, I think a lot of neurodivergent people pick up a hobby and then go, if I'm not good at it straight away, it goes in the
I'm
fucking
not good
cupboard.
at it. Yeah, I'm not good at it immediately. Therefore, I have failed.
Exactly.
It's very For me, my experience with the gym has very much been that, and the problem, I think, is that we're sold a lot of mental imagery and a lot of imagery about working out. So, like, I go in with the goal of, like, this vague mental image of me being like, yeah, I'm a big fat Romanian guy that can snap barbells in my hands and throw them in traffic, you know, and be like, oh, I'm smashed.
I want someone to come in with that as a specific goal.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, I'll sign up and be like, all right, Elissa, here's my goal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand outside Fed Square hucking 10 kilo plates. No, I'm not gonna do that for the purposes of ASIO and FBI and whatnot.
Yeah.
But for me, it's sort of like, perfectionism is huge. So do you find yourself kind of getting frustrated at times too? Like, you feel like you're cheering people on, and because of our brain's negativity bias, people get a bit, oh, but this one thing over here. Do you ever have moments where you're like, no, dude, come on, like...
So I've had to restrain myself from grabbing people by the shoulders physically, like just shaking them, going,
you have worth.
Be fucking happy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to do that, but, like, I think I'm not going to try to force someone to acknowledge it. Like, I'm happy to acknowledge it on their behalf, and I've said that a few times to some clients, and it's like, you might not be happy, but I am, and I'm your coach, so fucking listen to what I'm saying. I don't know, like, it's hard.
You've got an element of being, it's kind of an interesting spot for you to be in, say, versus for me with social work, because it's like, there's a power imbalance, but, you know, what does the social worker usually do? Help with grant applications, yell at the Office of Housing alongside you, that sort of thing. It's all vague, undefined kind of stuff, but it's sounding like, you know, you've got an interesting power dynamic where it's like, no, I'm the boss, but also, like, I'm here for, like, your feelings and support and that sort of stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. It's hard sometimes to straddle, like, that sort of happy medium between the two, because sometimes, like, I'll find, for example, I want someone to follow something to the letter because it's important that they do that. And then they're like, oh, but I changed it, and I'm like, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with my programming. But, like, on the other hand, I need to listen to what they're telling me. Like, if they say I didn't do it because you know, it was boring, it hurt, or whatever, it's then my job to go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not optimal that you didn't follow it, but are we still going to get, some progress? If we're still going to get progress, I'm not going to beat people up about it. Like, I'm not going to make them feel like shit because they changed one exercise or whatever.
Yeah.
But I have had clients in the past where they have done absolutely nothing that I've been asking them to do, and then they'll complain that they don't get results.
Do you get to a point with with someone that's just not coming to the party and you just end up being like, I don't want to waste your money, dude. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I've fired many clients, and like, it's good. It actually feels really good because if you're
fired. It's an interesting choice of words.
Yeah, but like I've told someone I'm not the coach for you many times, and I feel like instantly lighter because I'm like, this person is hard to communicate with. They have their own agenda. Like, you find a lot of clients, for example, think that they already know what they need to do, and I'm like, why are you here? Like, if you do you want me to just like get paid to say that you're already right? Like, why? Like, you don't have to do that here. You can just do that at home. Like, don't waste my fucking time. But it's been more frequent in the last few years because I don't have to worry about not getting clients, or like, I'm busy. I don't need shit clients. It's not like I'm starting out, and I'm trying to build my business and I need the money. It's like, no, I don't want to work with you. Like, you suck. Like, I'm not going to tell you suck, but I'm going to tell you by like.
Well, you suck by virtue of being a dickhead, not like you suck as a person. You're just being a dickhead about this thing, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that? It is absolutely your turn to ask some questions, by the way, because I'm about 10 questions to one.
Okay. Yeah.
But do you find that initially that was a lot harder, not just because of making money, but maybe some of the imposter syndrome and just starting out and just being like, ooh, don't really want to hurt feelings, that kind of thing? Yeah,
definitely. I think my progression as a coach, I used to bend over backwards to try to keep people happy. Now I'm like, well, it is a partnership. Like, positions of power aside, like, we're here to get a result and work together. If I can't work with someone, then it's kind of, what are we doing? But what was the question again?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Blanked out. We've blanked out.
When you walk into a room and you're like...
Yeah, I call that every time I walk into a room.
I was like, what the fuck was I answering?
Door frames equals context gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm surprised I even knew where I was when I walked through that door frame.
Definitely. What? Yes.
You got any more for me? You got any spicy ones?
Spicy ones.
Oh, it doesn't have to be spicy. I don't want to put the pressure on you.
Yeah.
Let's not set you unrealistic goals or anything.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of more instances in particular, surrounding neurodivergence. Are there any sort of visualization tools or mental sort of... How do I phrase this? Ways of practicing a skill without actually being in the gym, if that makes sense. So in relation to, how I was talking before about people want or, demand perfection from themselves, there is a method you can use of visualizing you lifting something. Like, for example, I want to do a 100 kilo squat this week. So I'm going to go through it in my mind over and over again and rehearse it. Are there things like that are specifically neurodivergent friendly that people could adapt on a daily basis?
I feel like it's so dependent on more than with neurodivergent people than the majority population. It's so context dependent. I think, again, with neurodivergent people, we just have to find ways to work in special interest or fun, but also having some accountability that it's not always going to be fun. There are days when it's going to be routine and boring, and we kind of have to suck up and just do it. But I don't know. I think for some people maybe that looks different. I don't know if it's like drawing a stick man of themselves on the whiteboard, and this is me lifting at 100 kilos or something, and having little stick figure people being like, yay, go Brady, go Elissa, I don't know, maybe it's someone's a musician and maybe like, I don't know, maybe they could pair that imagery to say writing a sick riff and be like, this is my, you know, when I play this riff that I made, like dun 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 dun, that's my WWE walking around music, and I'm like, when I'm oiled up and the ladies are, you know, I just think that, so for me too, I'm a very, very visual person in terms of like tools and how I manage stuff. Like this is just full of cartoon drawings, and like bullet journal system was developed by someone with ADHD, and the whole point is just there's a system to it. But
can you extrapolate on what that is?
It's not I think Writer Carol has like a paid thing, but basically like it's just a system of like daily, weekly, monthly, but the whole point is that yes, you could be writing it down on a calendar as well or in Google Calendar, but you're doing it manually so that, you know, forces you to process. But the whole thing about it being like just in any notebook is it's not in a planner, so there aren't like empty days. So you don't get that feeling of being like, oh, I didn't, you know, blah, 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 blah. You just continue, it's like a running script. So, oh God, how do I adapt that to what you were talking about? I don't know, I guess treating training generally like that, like, yes, there are guardrails, yes, there are, you know, you've got set amounts, reps, you've got your, you know, whatever you're doing, periodization, pyramidization, blah, 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 all that stuff. But also as well, I don't know, it's, I guess maybe a lot of neurodivergent people, I'm guessing a lot of people that walk in here, they came to a metal gym, so they like creative stuff, probably like music. You'd hope so.
Oh, I hope so.
You'd probably like training. You'd hope both of those things are true. So I think it's about, maybe just like the other example before, I think it's about like pairing and conditioning with something they're into. Because I find as soon as I hook, you know, I put a clip of special interest on boring thing, it makes it a little bit easier to do. Like, I don't know, blasting worms while doing the dishes. And I go from being like, I fucking hate the fact that I've been staring at this dish for 25 minutes, I'm an intelligent person, why can't I just wash this dish, to being like, nearly punching through it like, that's right.
That feeling too when you're doing something mundane and the sickest riff comes on, and then all of a sudden you're just like vacuuming or something, you're like, fuck.
And I think that's actually an important part, is like, I actually would say, because you've probably noticed with neurodivergent people, we're all big kids, we're quite silly. And you and I see, I mean, I showed you the Shania Twain Boots cap. But I think you gotta, we treat, especially, do you find, I'm answering your answer with another question, and it'll make sense, but do you find that people walk in here with that mindset of like training, serious, and also death metal? Do you get people coming in kind of masking up and being like, oh, you know, I've got to be fucking tough because metal, serious, lifting, serious, that's like 2 layers of serious. All of a sudden your chest's not out here, it's out here, like, I'm ready for training, miss. Do you get that vibe from people coming in?
No, I get the silly vibe.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Maybe the sort of bravado the first time they walk in. But then
that's what I mean.
It gets very distilled very quickly. Like, it's as soon as someone sees the fucking googly eyes all over the rotting price flag, like, and I'm very serious about my gym and everything, but I'm also a bit of a fuckhead, and I like to have a laugh, and I like playing around and stuff, so I think that kind of helps people get a little bit more out of their own head.
I mean, I'm not going to name my previous employer or the person involved, obviously, NDAs and all that shit. But for instance, I remember I was working with someone in Geelong, and it was crisis, cops, ambulance, everything. Not listening, it was going to blow up, blah, blah, blah. You know what got him over the line? Fart jokes. Fart jokes. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's not a one size fits all, but to loop that back into your question, I think I did mention before, like, yeah, you could pair it with like doing guitar and stuff. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, but that's just another thing a neurodivergent person might be doing, going, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
So make it silly.
Yeah.
Like make a silly song. Like this is gonna be my. If someone's say a Black and Death guitarist and they're a shit hot guitarist and they can play different genres.
Yeah.
Well, don't sit there trying to make like a Black and Death riff for this mental imagery thing you're doing. Make it stupid and silly, like fucking Devin Townsend, the first Strapping album.
Yeah.
And at the end, it's like that song that's like Satan's ice cream truck, and he's like, hey, kitties. After it's just been like, fuck death, I hate where I live, it's too hot, fuck everything. And at the end, it's like, whip, woo, whip.
Is that the same album that has Fisticorps on it, or am I thinking? Because that also would work. That's pretty funny.
Well, Heavy is a really heavy thing, the debut album.
Oh,
but my point being is like, I would say to people that are looking to use mental imagery, and for neurodivergent people especially, I think it applies across the board. Training, imagery, all that sort of stuff. Like, work some fun in there, work some humor in there, because we froth off self-deprecation.
Yep.
So even say, for instance, something that would work for me in a weird way would be like, if I was to do mental imagery, it wouldn't be serious. It'd be kind of like, you watch much It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I've watched a little bit. I need to go back.
It'd be kind of like Mac, like thinking he's so cool.
Yeah.
And my thoughts of my mental image would be like, oh, look at you, Mr. Tough Guy. You think you're so fucking ripped, huh?
Yeah.
Because I can't take fitness culture, like I want to be stronger, but I just cannot. I think that's actually been a barrier, is like I can't take it seriously as a neurodivergent person, because I look at it and it's so serious and pristine, and it's kind of a fucking clown. Like a traditional gym is kind of like a circus anyway. Like I always used to walk in being like, this is kind of funny. Like you could just walk. Like you drove here and now you're walking, and like look how serious you are, and you're like kissing your biceps. So like, I don't know, I think sometimes people have to take the temperature down off the serious factor. But do you find, say, having stuff like the googly eyes and just having a muck about like that, do you feel that that's actually probably also a motivating factor for people, even though they haven't told you that, maybe, for coming here or
for sure.
continuing training?
Yeah, like just being able to be yourself a little bit more.
Keep talking, I'm just going to check the battery.
All good. So like taking the seriousness down and combining two special interests like metal and lifting is really quite motivating for people. Like, and I'm like, when it comes to teaching people technique and like getting programming correct and all that sort of stuff, I'm deadly serious. But when it comes to like being here in the gym, it's like, it's fucking have a bit of fun.
Do you find that there are some people that do come here and they're that guy? Like they're just such a serious, they're so invested in the serious macho black metal, like I'm getting buff so that I can, I don't know, punch SJWs or no, I don't know, but you know, there's just someone that's very like, do you ever get any of those like stereotypical metalheads that's just like, I'm so serious? Or is that person like actually truly a stereotype?
I don't think I'd get them. And I think it's potentially because of the way that I market the gym and the way that, you know, people, when they come here, they already know what they're getting in for. And that's like, you know, the seriousness of training that I was talking about before, but also the fucking stupid ways that I'll give people cues, or like the shit I post sometimes, I'm like,
I love the puns.
It's like,
I love the puns and the dad jokes.
But it's like, one of the best things about having your own business is you can project your personality into everything. So I don't get those people, which is thankful. Like it's a way to weed out the undesirables, like before they've even stepped in. Or if they come here for a trial and they don't come back, it's like, well, maybe it was for the best. You know?
Yeah, they come in and they go, Actually, that's not atmospheric post black metal. That's technical black and pretty.
Yeah.
Follow. Oh man, I'm asking you too many questions. You gotta ask me some more. But do you ever get people coming in? Because I would do this. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did when we did do a training session. I was like, blah 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 bands.
Yeah.
Do you find it's common? Like people come in here, it's a music gym, and they're just like bands, and you're like.
Yes, often. But it's fucking great. Like some of the best conversations we have are like around like what gigs are on, or like this new album, or like when the recent like Archspire fucking song came out, like everyone's like, have you heard this? No, like we cranked the fuck out of it, and like that's really kind of why this place exists as well, the community aspect.
Yeah, so you're wanting to like broaden the metal, literally strengthen the metal community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a way to get people in the gym that they wouldn't typically go because of the reasons like you just mentioned. It's a fucking your average gym is not very appealing to metalheads.
Yeah, it's a my experience is it's an uphill battle. Like I'm literally, I was diagnosed with autism at like 31, 32. And one of the key things I cited with like sensory stuff, because I'm like, I don't have sensory stuff, I don't care, look, that's fine, I'm not well actually
wait,
shucks.
I'll go get some microphone.
Don't you fucking dare. Watch the social worker kill a personal trainer. There you go. But like specifically the type of shit they play at gyms, they'll pick stuff that is just purpose built to piss off my brain. It seems they just pluck out either like this very specific like Ministry of Sound techno, or very specific trip hop or something with lots of that tinny fucking, and there's no bass, there's not enough bass. And I'm just walking in and it's all treble, it's like, it's like being at a gig and you're like, the mix is shit. What's the sound guy doing with the bass? I can't hear the bass. It's all mids. Like, I feel already like assaulted, and I feel like I interpreted like the physiological response that I'm having when I'm going in. It took me a long time to realize, like, because I'd be like, yeah, no, my heart's racing because I'm hyped up and stuff. And now looking back, I'm like, no, actually, I think I was actually really pissed off. Like being there, like my heart rate was actually up because I was like, fucking music and fucking people and Yeah,
absolutely. I do have a question for you. You mentioned you were diagnosed with autism in your 30s?
32, or 34 actually, so 36 now, a couple of years ago.
Did you find that sort of awareness of your own neurodivergence made you worse in a way? Like, because you were more aware of things you were potentially ignoring.
I think it's a very common thing, and I think people think that, here comes the ADHD, we'll walk this back a bit. I think that people think that people act more ADHD or autistic after they get diagnosed. No, they're probably talking a lot more about it because, funnily enough, we thrive off special interest and big new shiny carrot you just got dangled. To be perfectly honest with you, the autistic experience, what has been helpful for me about the autistic experience is a couple of things. So I'll put these in the show notes. Really good one, Dr. Anna Neff. So anyone you've got that's neurodivergent, neurodivergent insights.
Okay.
I'm so going to try and poach that woman for an interview because she's like a clinical psychologist who's AUDHD, and she breaks down stuff like brilliantly. So it was resources like that I kind of gravitated to, because to be honest, it was, nearly 2 years, over 2 years since I got diagnosed. So my diagnosis process was, I did the MIGDAS, which is like very narrative, tell us your whole life story. It was really cool. And very autism friendly, because I was expecting, someone with glasses being like, beep, beep, do you, beep, 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 do you run into walls, do you wear floaties at the restaurant so you don't drown in your suit? Might need floaties after enough beers at the bendy, but that's a different story. But for me, I got diagnosed with ADHD, and it was like, here's all these concrete strategies. Here's a whole universe of things you can do. Autism is, looking at it, I think autism is more about who I am as a person, like it's identity. So it's a little bit more vague, which the autism hates.
Yeah. Because
ADHD, a lot of it's, you end up with a lot of imposter syndrome and hang-ups about yourself from having ADHD. I feel like I have more hang-ups about myself and my behavior from my ADHD.
Yeah.
Whereas my autism is sort of more who I generally am.
Yeah. Which
I found difficult. So for me, this is my AUDHD. Mm-hmm. Here's your question. here's an answer. Yeah. Here's mine. That's just how I think. But I think I was a bit pissed off after I got my diagnosis because I'd spent all this money, been on this wait list. It was a great process. I went to Panton Hill Clinic, and they specialize in like neurodivergent assessments, and they have a strong specialty on like AUDHD and women with trauma and that sort of stuff. So I was like, cool, it's not going to be a psychiatrist just like half asleep on his own fucking meds going, and did you do you have repetitive stereotyped movements? I would have just been sitting there like, I want to die. Yeah. It was actually really fun. But cool. I came out of that and they're like, we know it's neurodivergent hell, but all we got for you is we recommend you apply for the NDIS. And I'm like, I've been a social worker for 16 years. I spent 10 years in disability. I'm not fucking doing that anytime soon. Yep. And I'm like, so what else? And they're like, NDIS?
Yeah. Well,
they don't really give medication for it. I'm like, I know that, but like, you got anything else for me? And they're like, nope. Yeah. So for me, like, it's been more a process of unraveling the onion, and I feel like it's very common, I've noticed, with guys. I know a lot of guys that are ADHD, and they're very ADHD, but all of them I'm like, no, autism as well. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So the research used to state that the comorbidity, the covalence of the two was 5%, which they've thrown out because they're like, number one, no one was getting assessed. More recent research was suggesting 30 to 50%, and more recent research, there's some meta-analyses and stuff, have suggested that's also bunk. They think that not only is it extremely rare, so they think the current thinking, it hasn't been sort of evidenced, but they're sort of, research is projecting it's more like anywhere from 60 to 95% chance if you've got one, you've got the other. Yeah. So it's been interesting because I got diagnosed with autism second, so I think there's a bit of recency effect going on. I'm like more focused on that because it's a newer thing. Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question. I just went off into fucking la la land.
That's alright.
But I think in terms of like your clients and stuff, it's you'll sort of notice that even someone who may not be diagnosed with ADHD might have some of those traits, because even if you clinically don't sort of pass muster of diagnosable ADHD, autistic people have executive dysfunction. It is actually, and a lot of autistic people will forget that like there are working memory deficits related to being autistic. Yeah. It's just different mechanisms. Yeah. And then you get lucky chuckle fucks like me who got the double dose of it.
Yeah. Chuckle fuck. Yeah, I'm putting that in my vocabulary.
But I would say it's my general advice. It's sort of like, you don't want to be an armchair psychiatrist, and you don't want to paint everyone with the same brush. Yeah. But I feel like if you're working with any neurodivergent person, irrespective of diagnosis, I think it's good to have a bit of a general vibe on like ADHD, because it's highly likely that, because most of us go out and get one thing diagnosed, and then they're like, this is the other part of it. Yeah. Fuck, that took me 2 years. I spent $2,000. Okay, now I need to get diagnosed with ADHD. Hey, guess how much you have to spend? Guess how much longer you're on a wait list? Most of us go, fuck that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I'm even surprised that I went for the autism assessment.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like, I know a lot of ADHD folks who they're like, I'm absolutely autistic, but like, what's the use?
Yeah.
And I think that's a bit of a big problem, is that the only sort of solution we offer is like, you should apply for the NDIS. Everyone knows applying for the NDIS is
sounds nightmarish.
it is a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question, but I think with autistic people coming to the gym and people are like, you know, you can kind of get a vibe without, you know, again, armchair diagnosing, especially a lot of people who are a bit of column A, a bit of diagnosed with both. You'll pretty quickly get a vibe, a read on whether someone's leaning more towards the ADHD versus the autistic.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, an autistic person would have already wrapped this interview up 25 minutes ago.
Probably.
Like, a more autistic person than me. But
yeah. No,
do you notice that with your clients? Do you feel like you can get a vibe that someone's sort of more one way? Maybe they've been diagnosed with both, or maybe they're self-diagnosed with both, and you're like, you're kind of more over this side.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I often joke to people, like, I'll ask them if they're neurodivergent when they come in, and they're like, I don't know, I'm like, the fact that you're here. Yes. You would not be here if you weren't, basically.
You should, like, you know what? Bit of a good side money hustle for you. Get another desk over there and just ring a consultant psychiatrist and be like, bro, do you want an endless stream of clients?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just pay me some rent. You set up we'll set up a separate area.
Yeah.
Close it off. Get like a little Finnish sauna style thing happening.
Absolutely.
And then just ADHD and autism assessments.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Day in, day out.
Yeah, that would work really well. I was gonna.
Metalhead psychiatrists of Victoria.
Absolutely.
Get out of. Yeah.
I was gonna ask though, like, what made you decide to get your diagnosis? Because I'm thinking about getting one.
So it was my partner at the time. Like, we're separated now, but still, like, we're good friends. But it was noticing her. Because while we were dating, we both got diagnosed with ADHD, and then we both got diagnosed with autism, which I feel like is the most common thing for a lot of people. I think just noticing, like, as she started looking a lot more into it and getting more literate, less around the clinical side of things and more around, like, a lot of the peer language and a lot of the recovery focused stuff. And also, what made me actually decide, so that was like high key, very like, I can't believe I just said high key, like for real, Boston no cap, children, how do you do, fellow young metal person?
Yep.
But like, I found that quite like inspirational to see in real time, because I was kind of looking at all that language and all that stuff around, you know, more peer neurodivergent stuff. The other thing that just made me clock it was like every ADHD meme page and group I was on, every single time there was something that was like not an ADHD specific meme, and it was like, oh, this neurodivergent thing, ha 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 ha. Everyone in the comments is like, yeah, or that's my ADHD, that's my autism, da, da, da. And I'm like, I thought, isn't neurodivergent the same? And I started kind of talking to people, and they're like, yeah, this XYZ thing, like ADHD people get it too, but that's probably because they're also autistic. And I'm like, I'm really getting a lot of feedback there. You know what I mean? I think you'll see a lot of stuff online, like memes and stuff. And I just noticed anytime it wasn't specifically like ADHD is when they this, it was like neurodivergent people when they. And it just kept coming up. So in fact, in a way, weirdly, memes was kind of like a feedback loop, like shit posting, because I was like,
you see yourself in it.
And there was the ASD was started going, hang on a minute, there's a pattern, there's a thread here. I'm noticing a thread, there's a web between all these things, and none of it is purely clean ADHD. So what's going on here? What's the common denominator? And in the comment section is just full of people being like, oh yeah, but that's like autism. I'm like, Yeah. And so you're suspect, like, you're thinking.
I think all ADHD.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I'm not gonna armchair diagnose on camera, but yeah, I'd say so.
I've been peer reviewed by many people, and it's funny, looking back over your life, like in sort of raising your awareness of neurodivergence in general, you look back on your existence, especially from a young age, or how you did or didn't get along with people in school, and you're like, fuck, I was the really weird one that never fit in anywhere. And
everyone that walks through your door was the really weird one.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was like I was too smart to be a rebel, but too rebellious to be a nerd. So didn't fit anywhere.
That hurts. Right in childhood. Yep.
Yeah. And then I had my ex-partner, we were together for like 15 years. He used to call me Captain Half-Ass. And I'm like, he'd just be like, you don't do anything you don't want to do. And I'm like, no. If there's no dopamine, I'm not doing it. And he'd be like, have you done this? I'm like, no. I didn't get a reward from it, so I'm not gonna fucking do it. But
that's a bit rude, Captain Half-Ass. I'm not seeing any fucking half-ass here, dickhead.
I guess because this is like my special interest.
Yeah.
This is the one thing that I've stuck with and not gotten bored of.
That's very
it's
indicative
the hobby,
too.
It's the hobby that stuck and became a career.
And I would see autism making sense for you because of and again, not tarring everyone with the same brush, but the depth that you go to in terms of being, I can tell by your posts, especially when you're talking about the specificity of it and the science of it, I'm like, I know you've just been trawling and chowing down literature reviews and books and stuff and eating that stuff up. Yeah. And ADHD folks will do that a lot and intensely, but it's often in shorter bursts. And I think that's also what made me realize, oh, hang on, autism kind of makes sense for me too, because I have 110 trillion dead projects.
Yep.
We have a folder for the inner strength check team, which only the team are privy to.
Yep.
And we're not even using that group. We're not even using Google Drive, in fact. So it's very funny that I have this folder in there, because the folder's called the ADHD graveyard, idea graveyard of death.
Yep.
And then I've got another folder called the ADHD crypt of idea necromancy. So if there's things where I'm just like, you're never gonna fucking do that, but just put it there. I'll drag it over there. And then one day, if I feel that sparking back up, I'm like, oh yeah, no, drag it over into the. And that's very autistic.
Yeah.
Actually, it's no, must have a process. So it's this mix of chaos. So I think you get it.
Definitely.
But I think for me, my question to you would be, so for me, a thing that made me realize, okay, this is probably autism, not just ADHD, is music was not shakeable. My ongoing rabid, nerdy metal archives, no, excuse me, in 1987, Jorgensen was playing the classical flute on that folk atmospheric album, and in fact I think the sound is more comparable to Fenn than say, just that real, it's like this ideas, projects, partners with fucking silly names for you.
Yeah.
They come and, people come and go, things come and go, but it's your special interest. Yeah. And I've noticed that, while a lot of folks who are very, very, very ADHD and not presenting so much autistic are still very musically obsessive.
Yes.
They're less details oriented about it too. They're just happy puppy dogs. They just want to rock up to shows and it's all about the stimming.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it's sometimes I just think, this is a problem. I'll find myself in my 4th hour of reading, I don't know, something stupid, bios of Latvian fucking grindcore bands. I'm like, yeah, this is to a weird level, man. This ain't even just.
So that little bit of self-awareness where you're like, fuck, this is really
It's
Yeah.
like an obsession.
time,
Yeah. Like, you could explain stuff like that as like an ADHD hyperfixation, but I know that I have. It's sort of like, for me, music is like, and unfortunately, like, to be honest, fitness was, but it kind of died with a bit of like neurodivergent burnout stuff. But I'm working to get it back. But actually, that's a good example. Is that fitness is something that I thought was like unshakable for me, and it's actually post lockdown where that unraveled. Not during lockdown, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
But music doesn't seem to be movable. Like, it's always something I'm passionate about. Yeah. And it's not this like launch out of bed like another day with metal. You know. But it's always there, it's always ever present in the background, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere no matter what I do. And I don't want to be like sort of implying that if you've loved metal your whole life then maybe you're autistic. But I don't know if you get what I mean, like, and if you were thinking that around assessment, because in the assessment they were like, oh, you're into metal, huh? yeah.
We get a lot of you.
Yeah. So it's just like, every guy that comes here, because it's like we get mostly female clients, but the only guys we get are in like death metal shirts. I'm like, but I guess for me it's like autistic, because autistic as well. At first I thought autistic because it seemed unshakable, and then I started noticing other funny things, because I, studying psych and working in the industry, being like, oh, autistic people have rules. I'm like, well, I don't have rules, so I'm not autistic. Get an album that I like and put it in shuffle mode and play it. Watch me lose my fucking shit. Yeah. The only time I'll tolerate, I'm mostly ADHD, as you can tell. And most things I'm like, yeah, man, it's like crazy, it's breezy, man. I've got a real like, naturally just a stoner personality. Yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, like, just take it easy, bro. But then, like, if you were to take, say, my black metal playlist, even though most people, including most neurodivergent people, apparently put it on shuffle, ants under my skin. Yeah. You might as well rub me from head to toe in microfiber towel. Do you have anything? Do you have anything about fitness or training that gives you that ick? Like, if it was to be disturbed?
Yes. People, like, we have about 4 or 5 different brands of plates in the gym. It's kind of a mishmash of what I already have, and like buying some shit on Facebook Marketplace and stuff.
Wrong brand and the wrong plate.
If someone has a 20 kilo plate and it's the wrong brand and it doesn't match, I lose my shit. And I will make them change it, because it's like, I want to focus on your set. I don't want to think about the fact that you've got a fucking commercial Force USA plate and a Verve plate on the same bar. Like, yeah, that's pretty fucking autistic.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, that, you could explain that away as a neurotypical person of like, but that's, that's your shuffle playlist. That is, and like, I will make people change it. I'm like, your set is not starting. The people kind of go like, huh? Most people are just like, sure, but they're also, okay. Yeah. Man, like, no wonder you freaking hated, no wonder you ever get out of a traditional gym. Yeah. Because that never would be the case. They'd all be different. Yeah. Were you like slowly losing your shit over time because you're like going through the plates and they're all different brands? Yeah, absolutely. They have like one of each? Yeah. Yeah. And also like people who can't put fucking dumbbells back in order. It's like, just, numbers, right? Just look at the number. I literally was... So when I was diagnosed with ADHD, I got neuropsych testing because they thought you might have bipolar. So they're like, oh no, we have to do this. Anyway, I did all those testing and they're literally like, haha, you have a maths learning disorder. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Anyway, But even I go, oh, 17, 19. I thought the rest of the rack is empty. And like my brain is devoid of logic, but even my brain can go, ergo, if this is the empty spot and these are the last two, put the two in this spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like at the last gym, you'd have pins that go very clearly in some cable machines and not in others, and then people would just get the pins and put them in the other machines.
And like long. Oh no, that's that. I'm triggered. Like the longer pins coming and no.
Or like handles, like a different handle. Like one handle might have knurling on it, and the other one's smooth. And I'm like, I can't deal with that. Make them the same, or don't use them at all.
Do you find you have anything like that with music? Like, for instance, my example was like shuffle. I can't do it. Do you have any things like ritualistic things where it's like with music, like for a lot of people, for instance, it's you know, my Spotify can be a mess, but my music folders on my PC must be alphabetical, organized, that sort of thing.
I didn't get the obsession with Train's autism. I got the playlist autism.
Yes.
I have so many fucking playlists. Like,
oh, I can't show you, but yeah.
Like, I want to get rid
bad.
of. I want to get rid of Spotify, but I don't want to lose all those playlists because I've got like over a decade of playlists.
I imported all mine to Apple Music.
Okay, well that's still Apple.
I know, it's the lesser evil. Look, this is not, and I'm recording this off an Android phone. Like, fuck ever having an iPhone. I hate DRM. Sorry, sorry, Melbourne-based audience with your deconstructed soy lattes and your iPhones, but personally, fuck iPhone. But I tried Deezer. I tried all of them. Tidal, blah blah blah. And Apple's the only one I landed on because it's the only one that had the good, like had most of what I wanted, and also I just press the button.
Yeah.
All my playlists came over.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I actually regret that decision.
Yeah.
Like I had, like you said, 10 years of playlists, and I kind of was like, oh no, my old playlists. And but there was also a feeling of like, fresh start. And then I imported them all, and I was like,
Too many playlists.
Do you do that too? Like option paralysis, where it's like you've created option paralysis because you're like,
exactly.
Oh, this new melodic black metal band, that's got to go on the melodic black metal playlist, and then you're like just scrolling, and you're like, it's too much.
Yeah.
Why do I do this?
Absolutely.
But new tech death must go in the tech death.
Yeah.
But it's too much.
Exactly. I think what's probably worse than the playlist is I will latch onto an album or a song and just fucking play it to death. Like, have you heard of a band Patristic?
Yeah.
Their last album, I fucking listened to that 13 times in a row the first day that I heard one song and went, holy fuck, I need to hear this. Started the album, just had the album on repeat for like probably 12 hours non-stop.
Wow.
And I still love that album, but I deliberately haven't gone back to listen to it because I'm like, it's too soon.
Yeah.
Like, I played it to death.
You know, that's funny, is something that like everyone in all the neurodivergent communities, all my mates, everybody, it's like I skipped that one. Like, I can't do listening to the same song, but my brain will play it for me.
Okay.
So I can't sit there and listen to, what was my most recent song that was in my head on a loop? Boney M. Rasputin at the same time as Disaster Piece from Slipknot, and it was making like an Andy Redfeld, you know that guy that does like Slayer does Disney?
Yeah.
It was like making a mashup in my head, so I had to actually go listen to Disaster Piece, and I was like, you know, in a real depressed mood, so I was like, cut down the highway, not across, fucking loving it. My team, and on the way here, I was listening to fucking Doombringer, the live album by Nazem.
Yeah.
Specifically to get those opening chords have just been going around around and around in my head, and I'm like, fuck off. And I think a lot of neurodivergent people probably do it smarter than me. I feel like a lot of people listen to the song on repeat to like expunge it.
Yes, yeah. That's a way to get it out.
To work it, it's like you have to iron it out. It's like a crease that needs to be ironed, right?
Yeah. Like right now, I've got a Carnosa song in my head just over and over.
Yeah.
Like I like it, so I'm like.
Yeah, we've probably had riffs going this whole time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And half the people watching this will just be like sitting there like, oh wait a minute, there's like a Hate Eternal riff.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of metal and your clients, since we're on the music stuff, yay, special interest.
Yay.
Hey. Oh, I'm gonna get cancelled. Anyway, it's fine. Do you find that you get many people coming in, even though it's deadlifts and death metal, and they're more sort of like in that gateway constellation of stuff? Like, I don't know, maybe they've just discovered Rivers of Nile and they're like, what the hell is this progressive death metal stuff? Or like, hey, have you heard Blackwater Park by Opeth? And you're like, are you fucking serious, son?
Yeah.
Do you get people coming in, they're like, oh, is there anything more like this? And you're just like,
oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely. Like, my love language is being asked to make a playlist for something.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, yes.
That is my gift giving, and that's almost like my communication. It's like, you know you've made it with me when you get like a custom playlist.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Or like, you know, I start throwing bands at you. I'm really annoying like that. It's like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. 2 weeks later, dude, stop sending me Bandcamp links.
I asked you for one thing. Like, I do get that a lot. I also really like pairing people's favorite like riffs with a heavy set. Like if someone's benching, my favorite bench music is Boltra 100%. For Victory. Or
that's interesting.
No Guts, No Glory or something like that. Bench 100%. With like Deadlifts, it's Enslaved. What's the song called? It's in my head.
One.
Yeah. It's off Havenless.
Oh,
you know, it starts kind of it's kind of got the chanting and shit at the start, and that's
I don't know, something in Norwegian.
It's like it's a call to arms. So like little things like that, like pairing someone's 1RM fucking testing with their favorite riff right at the time when the riff kicks in. Like I love that. And if they don't have a song, I can get one for them.
I feel like that's really good advice for the rehab stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe something you could also trial out with people, for instance, is like, say if someone's got ADHD, the advantage of them having ADHD in that instance is they'll probably have a different earworm song every week.
Yeah.
So you could just be like, what's the song going to be this week?
Yeah.
What is it right now?
Yeah.
Or just tell them, do the exercise to whatever song. And I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if there's something you can incorporate in the movement to it, being like, put some tempo into it.
Yeah.
That's like a 1, 2, 3, 4.
That fucking works. Yeah.
Depends on the genre though. You don't want them going to like brain drill. Someone comes in and they're just like, why the fuck did you recommend like Cerebral Bore? And they just pull up this stump and you're like, I didn't mean do it to every snare hit. Yeah. But that could be a good sort of way of. Do you ever do that sort of thing? Like, do you ever sort of go, okay, on the kick, or like, do you ever find yourself doing that, or do you find that clients more do that themselves?
I think clients kind of self-select a little bit, but if they need help, I'm always here to suggest. But just little things like, for example, watching people do spider crawls. I've probably made you do them at some point, but like you've got a band around your hand and you walk your hands down. Yeah. Every fucking time someone doing that will do it to the music.
Yeah.
Every time.
Because it's awkward looking and feeling, and I feel like doing it to the beat kind of helps take your mind off the fact that what you're doing. Like, it redirects your attention.
I love watching new clients do it because it's like 100% rate so far. Like, just watching people fall in line with the riff when they do it.
I wonder if someone's going to watch this or listen to this and be like, haha, fuck you, I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah. Please don't.
No. Trust me, neurodivergent people though won't be able to help themselves. Yeah. Neurotypical neurodivergent.
Yeah. So I want to ask a question around burnout. Mm-hmm. How the fuck do you get out of burnout?
That's a good question. I will be perfectly honest. I would say that I am about 15 months into a very protracted burnout.
Yeah.
Now, on paper, this is why I really recommend resources like Self Love Rainbow is a good one, but metalheads might find that a little bit too.
I hate it
pushy,
already.
ooey. I actually
too-
find it really. I'm like, this is. Sorry to say, this is 90s kid talking. This is fucking gay.
Yeah.
This is fucking gay.
Yeah.
But having that in my feed, actually low key, I'm a little bit like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But I recommend like neurodivergent insights and ADD attitude and that sort of thing. Autism awareness, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Not Autism Speaks, fuck those guys. Just those kinds of peer resources and clinical resources. You need to know that there is a difference between traditional burnout and neurodivergent burnout. So traditional burnout, it's usually in the context of like workplace demands is often, workplace demands and stresses. Usually it's around, it's the whole thing about stress. The state of stress is perceived or actual capability and resources. Actual demands, you're stressed.
Yeah.
And often it's perceived. But with burnout, that's traditionally when that's been protracted for a long time.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, as a social worker,
Yeah.
I burnt out, man, because like I just spent 16 years, so since 2008, 2009. Oh my god, it's nearly 20 years for. Anyway, what am I doing with my life? But constantly in and out of case management jobs, and I think over time, just this grueling, slow grind of like constantly having so many clients to deal with that are so complex and handling it day to day, and then just. But what you'll find with neurodivergent burnout versus a sort of classical burnout is, with a typical burnout, it's usually resolved by like changing the workplace conditions, and often in our society that means quitting. Unless there's a HR intervention or management or that sort of thing. Unfortunately a lot of the stuff you read on burnout is like, dude, maybe just quit. I think that I have neglected, I feel like I'm sort of doing better on feeding the neurodivergent burnout part in some way, but I've really neglected the basics, and that's on me. I actually do need to sort of pull myself up by my bootstraps. So to extrapolate that a bit, neurodivergent burnout, you can do all your usuals. You can rest, you can sleep, you can get exercise, That's not going to guarantee a neurodivergent person gets out of neurodivergent burnout if they are feeling constantly overstimulated, which you will feel. So when a neurotypical person's burnt out, they're actually less responsive to stimuli, right? Like they're just like, it more often than not, especially with autistic burnout, goes the other way. Noises become more annoying. Like I'm burnt out at the moment myself, and I was at Werribee Macca's yesterday, and I was nearly having a fucking mentee bee. I was nearly climbing the walls. I thought I was going to murder someone. I was physically shaking. And I was on the way to the gig, and my usual like, gotta get to the gig on time, come on. That just left. It was just pure neurodivergent rage. And it was just like a couple of kids in the play area. But I just sort of stepped back and took a moment and went, holy shit, like I really overreacted to that. Oh, that's a sensory thing. And I think a lot of neurodivergent people, it's difficult because what happens is neurodivergent people will often actually regress. So there's often what they call skill regression. And when I say skill regression, it looks a lot like depression, where people just aren't taking care of themselves but they're not taking care of themselves because they so much like hate themselves and like not motivated and fatigued. It's literally just their cognition's impaired.
Yeah.
So like I've found lately, so in my little bullet journal or on Habitica, I have, this is hard to admit, but to be honest, like I have to write, have a shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not that I'm so depressed or I hate myself that I don't want to be clean. It's just that I need that additional level of prompting. And this is why things like NDIS and that is recommended. So I feel like that's just explaining autistic burnouts. It's a lot more sensory. It looks a lot like depression, so does regular burnout. But I think what a lot of people might not realize is that you're in this state where you're more fatigued, but you're more heightened. It's like your senses are more heightened in a certain way. Little things really piss you off a little bit more. You get a little bit more irritable. I don't know if you've noticed that when you're burnt out, like things get overwhelming very quickly. And I think to recover, you just need to build in more breaks and smaller breaks, because your overreaction to stimuli is basically demonstrating that you are already like, here's, you know, stable, here's calm, here's just off the roof with anxiety, here's like depressed or whatever. Say that's about normal. This is a very weird graph. And people listening to the podcast can be like, dude, we can't see that. Your average bar graph, let's say you're hovering around 40%, and that's like normal-ish for whatever the fuck normal anything is for neurodivergent people. That's like your normal. You might be a little bit, I'm a pretty anxious person, so I'm going to be anxious most days. But, you know, handling it. But it's almost like you get this temperature increase. And it's very easy when I'm burnt out to be like, I'm so fatigued. I'm so fucking fatigued that I'm also not realizing how quickly overwhelmed I'm getting. So I think to answer that, I think it's really important to build in more attentional breaks. So like what I was saying before, the Pomodoro technique, I live and die by that generally. So when I'm more stable or well, I will use that because it works. Right now, I'm depending on that. Like, I don't have 2 hour spurts of, even if the autism is like, come on, feed me. I want to learn the history of grindcore. Let's go. Let's watch documentaries. Due to burnout, I'll still get halfway through, and it's like ADHD is just. So for me, I feel like ADHD is more and more present. And I can trick myself into going, okay, that's the issue. But there's all this fuzzy, vague sensory stuff that the autism doesn't like. Again, stereotypical social worker, your classic things, rest, diet, sleep, which again, I'm not nailing any of those. But I will say it's different for everyone. And I think neurodivergent people will go, I'm not healthy, therefore I'm not recovering. And I push back on that a little. So, I mean, look at all the gig reviews I do. Look at all the albums I'm listening to. I'm definitely burnt out and like functionally pretty bad. But it's not alarm bells. I'm going to call Geelong Hospital alarm bell will be the day I'm like, I don't give a shit about music anymore.
I don't see that.
But I know, right? I'd be really good at faking it. I am good at faking it because neurodivergent, but so for me, it's kind of like by accident, I think propelled myself along and helped my neurodivergent burnout recovery in a lot of positive ways by, even though like, honestly, every gig I've reviewed and gone to, I've literally thought, I don't want to get in the car. I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. I really, really, really love this band. I just don't want to drive to Melbourne. I don't want to stand there. And then as soon as I go there, it's like the special interest has been fed. And that nourishment has kept me going. So, God, that was a long answer. What I'm saying is most people are going to be looking at it from the reverse.
Yeah.
And they might actually be doing all the right things, take all the right suspects, but maybe they're not feeding their special interests.
Yeah.
Because they're burnt out.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not engaging with it because they feel like crap, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, again, I think it's a good opportunity to be creative here. What we were talking about before, like, you have to rehab. Burnout is something that needs to be rehabilitated. It will not get better if you don't rehabilitate it.
Yeah.
So, for yourself, stop taking on every goddamn client in
I
Melbourne.
know.
No.
Yeah.
But I think for yourself, right? Like, I think you could just do things like, even just building in more. I'd call it what you want. I'd fuck around breaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Treat it like, I don't know. Pretend that you're working for someone still, and if you don't start taking your mandated, because in like the film industry and stuff, it's like they have to stop work, and like because the union is so strong, it's like no, everyone is stopping fucking work and having a cigarette and like tea.
Yeah.
We don't care if it's like
if you need
2 weeks before editing.
Yeah.
Union says so. I don't know how.
Yeah.
G'day everyone, it's Brady here from Intersecting again with a bit of a follow-up vid following the interview. I hope you guys enjoyed. Understand it was a bit of a long one, so thank you for sticking out through the wonderful discussion, and thank you very much to Elissa from Deadlifts and Death Metal. I just thought I'd give a bit of an outro rather than cutting the interview off short. So a couple of things. Let me just grab this this vegan iced coffee in a Hungry Jack's cup, and it's actually just doing the trick. It's alright. It's good. Quality podcasting, people. So I just wanted to give thanks to Elissa for her time, especially because she's quite busy, and that's what happens when you're successful, and when you're successful because you're good. I actually have had previous training with Elissa, and I can fondly recall her basically fixing up a back issue in one session that I'd had for years, and it spoke to how accurate and precise she is with her depth of knowledge and training that I had about a 50-cent piece sized delayed onset muscle soreness in my back. That's pretty damn good if you can get that sniper accurate with your training. So I really admire Elissa's approach, as it's quite in depth in terms of how much she does her research on exercise physiology, exercise science, and nutrition. So if you are interested, we'll have links in the show notes, deadliftsanddeathmetal.com. Similar to us, you can basically follow our tagline everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, just search Deadlifts and Death Metal. Otherwise, we are going to reconvene, because what had actually happened yesterday, that interview kind of cuts off a bit abruptly because we were talking for so long, bloody neurodivergence, that my phone battery shut down. We were actually talking for about another 30-40 minutes afterwards. So just as a bit of a teaser in advance for you guys, since you're listening, we're not going to really announce this outside of here. It's a little bit of a special thing for you, but we're currently working on part 2. So Elissa is actually going to be attending a 2-day seminar conference, which she's attending right now, and hope that's going well, mate. Specifically around the psychology of exercise. So if you are wanting to engage in an even deeper foray into the realms of mental health and the cognitive science and psychology of things like training, being a metalhead in training, how those things interact, we're doing an inception, folks. We're only going to go deeper. As a bonus, part 2, which will be Patreon exclusive, more on that in a second. Part 2 will actually be inclusive of additional tracks. So we're going to be proving some underground international metal artists and Australian metal artists and alternative artists that are going to be peppered throughout that interview. So you'll get a little bit more of a sort of a radio show style next time. And we're both looking forward to that. Hoping to record that one. It depends on Elissa and mine's schedules, but likely within the next month or so. Now, I did mention Patreon. That actually launched yesterday. So at least one of the two things that I got... Unfortunately, DaVinci Resolve decided to shit the bed at midnight after I just spent hours doing the introductory article. But there is a pretty comprehensive introductory article that is up on patreon.com/innerstrengthcheck. Links, of course, will be in the show notes again. Thank you to those who have signed up both either as free or paid members. For the price of about, I think it equates to $4 USD, 4. It's $5 USD for 5 AUD. Blech. This coffee hasn't kicked in yet. And with 5 AUD, what can you expect? You can expect bonus content. So I'm actually looking at now regularly scheduling 2 in-depth topical episodes and or interviews per month, every month, for the podcast on top of any of the interviews that are public available. So that's one benefit. Another benefit is I'm actually going to be investing some money into some things like using the funds generated by Patreon. We're going to be looking into designing and procuring some merch. And that is going to be with the help of another local, Michael Armando of Slime Dimension, who also has a printing business, the Doom Reaper Vault. So cheers, Michael, for that. I'll look into it. I'm hoping to offer that to the general public and then also include some discount opportunities, discount codes for those of you who do sign up, and they'll be pretty steep discounts as well. There will be additional merch that won't be available to the general community, be special. I'll be holding onto it physically myself and mailing it out to you wherever you live. So that's going to be another benefit. So that's 2 things, and there's going to be quite a bit more on offer that's going to evolve over time. At the moment, I had made mention of Discord. I'm actually going to utilize the Patreon channel as because the entire thing, as you'll read on the accompanying post, I won't get into it now, but I want this thing to be quiet, community-led, community-driven. Not to say I haven't done my homework. I do actually have a Discord server set up, but I want to just ensure that it is relevant for the community and it's got what the community wants. It's like Brondo, it's got what plants crave, except instead of it being Brondo, it's a Discord server, and instead of it being plants, your people. So there's access to those private communities. There's going to be some other benefits too. I'm not offering a multiple tiered membership at the moment. I feel that we're offering quite a fair bit for the price we're asking. Really, if anything, guys, it is to the intention operations wise is $5 a month. I feel is keeping the lights on because there are a lot of costs involved and mounting costs involved with operating this podcast, and it's a good way for us to stay punk rock and be completely paid advertisement free. Our podcast was and always will be advertisement free if we can help it. I'm certainly not putting any advertisements in the podcast. And apart from the promotional materials you will see online, unless you want to call that an ad, it's really not. The blog also and our socials will remain advertisement free. So we have no sponsors apart from you in the community. And I'm looking very much forward to seeing you over on Patreon. We will have some free posts, members, which we are tentatively calling, unless you guys decide to nix that. That's another benefit, changing the future direction of all sorts of things in the Inner Strength Check canon. Over the Rift Nerd, you'll get access to private community chats and other options, other bonuses, and you'll be able to start having a say on some of the future podcast content, guesting, all that sort of thing. So look forward to you guys checking it out. I look forward to you guys checking out the Patreon exclusive wrap up of our discussion where we go even deeper. So, just wanted to highlight a few things there. And once again, I just wanted to circle back and give thanks to Elissa out of her busy schedule, because although that interview was an hour and a half, I think we must have talked for a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So thanks, Elissa. If you want some good training, you've got everyone from Simon from Bramlin to Dave Haley of Psychoroptic currently training with her. In fact, Dave was there training at the gym apparently earlier that day, working on his bench press technique. So if you want to accrue some metal cred and train with the legends, consider giving Deadlifts and Death Metal a look, and consider giving our Patreon a look. Other than that, thank you for sticking around. And as always, like I always say, peace, love, and grindcore. Thank you, everyone.